Am I on, Debbie? Hello? Are we doing the intro? Hello? Hello?
You are on.
Okay. Good morning again. If you watched my beginning on Facebook Live, Debbie and I are really experiencing these eclipse energies and the Mercury retrograde. I wonder if you are too. If you are, let me know in the comments if you're really finding the trickster side of Mercury playing with you. And I hope that I had a comment even on Facebook, and I send much love back. Thank you for being patient with me. This is a big week energetically, and it begins with today because this is May 1st, a new month. It is May Day, and that means it's Beltane. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But first, we'll begin as we always do. We were in the middle of a meditation for those of you who were with me on Facebook, and we're going to begin over again and very quickly do a heart drop. So palms up in your lap, and let me close this window. Palms up in your lap, feet on the floor, feeling the energy come up from the earth, that sustaining, beautiful, life-supporting energy. The breath, floating on the breath up through those trillions of cells in your body. Up, up, up. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Your belly is moving like the baffles of an organ, that you play. Moving up through your whole body now. The breath moves up, all the way to the top of your head, all the way to the tips of your fingers, those cells being enlivened by the gift of life force from source, prana. You exhale through the mouth. And again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And on the next breath, all the way to the top of your head, white light pours down through your body, through every cell, clearing, cleansing. Any negativity leaves, any impurities, any monkey mind stuff going on that's keeping you from being right here in this present moment, the only point of power with me. Move it on out. And on the next breath, all the way up. And on the exhalation, you move that consciousness down behind your facial mask, through your throat, through your chest, and down into your heart. On the next inhalation, the heart fills with rosy pink light, the light of self-love, filling your heart, all the chambers of your heart to overflowing, filling that energy center, filling your heart to overflowing with self-love. And begin that inner smile. Feel that inner smile as the self-love ramps up. And now breathe in emerald green to heal the heart and open it to love again. Those two energies are like a spiral. Those two colors creating this beautiful spiral of pink and green energy. Moving, enlivening your heart energy. And now moving out to fill your whole body. Those trillions of cells that have been cleansed and prepared with your breath. Now moving through your skin, filling your auric field, and moving out to the room around you. Now you are breathing in and out of your heart, feeling the whole field around you. Hopefully it's clear, free of noise and distractions. And you are here with me in the present moment in your heart. What a delicious, delicious place to be, right? And one more exhalation. Feeling that energy in and out of your heart, and you open your eyes and come to be with me. I'm so glad you're here with me. Comment, leave comments. I love it when you comment. I had a lot of comments last week, and I tried to answer every one. Sometimes I don't see them on Facebook. I'm finding Facebook to be really somewhat ineffective these days. So please bear with me. You can always message me, and let me know if you didn't get. Oh, hi, Kristen. Lovely to have you check in. Kristen and I knew each other in college a long time ago. Yeah, it's lovely to have people in your life that go way back. And You know, this, as I mentioned, this is a big weekend. It kicks off with a new month, which we now call May Day, but actually it's Beltane. Originally it was Beltane. And this is the midpoint between spring and summer. And so it is a time to celebrate. And with these eclipse energies and the trickster energy of Mercury playing with us, it's a great time to remember that we are entering this time of celebration that is the midpoint. So May 1st coincides with it, but every phase of the year is 6 weeks long. And so the moon is at 23 degrees of Virgo right now. And Virgo is the service-oriented sign that ideally is not a workaholic, but employs work as love made visible. All the passions of Leo come into fruition with Virgo as service, a higher purpose. And so we are in the gibbous phase of the moon. So gibbous, right? Well, what is that? It's an odd term, right? Reminds me of the gibbon monkey. But the gibbous phase of the moon is the phase before the full moon. And wow, what a full moon we have coming this week. So you're going to feel the buildup. And the moniker pressure cooker phase was never more appropriate. So there's a lot of wonderful videos on astrology on this eclipse that go into all of the things happening in the sky and all of the things being impacted. But my goal is to help you navigate, to make the energies that you're feeling and practical, so you can utilize them in your life. And that's why a lunar perspective is so helpful, because you're 70% water and your body moves to those rhythms of creation. So the gibbous phase is 3.5 days before the full moon. Every phase of the 8 phases of transformation in a lunar cycle are 3.5 days long. 8 phases. The moon moves through 12 signs, all 12 signs of the zodiac in each lunar cycle. 12 signs, 2.5 days approximately per sign. And so it's this double helix that goes up, through the cycle, bringing things to fruition. And of course, now we're looking at a 6-month checkpoint as we move through this week, back to the new moon on the 23rd of November. That was a time that really had to do with our relationships, with letting go, looking at our relationship with ourselves, with everything, and that craving for intimacy, true, deep communication. And now the fulfillment of that, the reflections and revelations regarding that are going to come to bear. So Beltane, this is an incredible May 1st, because it's not only the gibbous phase of the lunar cycle, but it's the gibbous phase of the year. As we move toward the solstice, which is like the full moon point of the natural year. So the gibbous phase is the phase where we polish our progress. We look at what our priorities truly are, and we see, are the intentions that we set forth 6 months ago, are we aligned with those? And are we aligned with the intentions that we set forth in that powerful energy of the new moon at 29 degrees of Aries that was a total solar eclipse? Are we aligned with our values? As Mercury is retrograde in Taurus, it's asking us, what do you value? The values that are programmed by the culture are programmed for economic advantage of the patriarchal corporate structure. How are your values aligned? Are they aligned with nature, with an ecocentric way of living? Are you getting out in nature every day? Are you listening to the news? The news is polarizing. You're going to stay in 3D if you're listening to the program media. Find other sources. Stay uplifted. You're creating your own world. You are light workers. And work, the definition that Khalil Gibran gave, which I love, is work is love made visible. So you are all light workers working with love made visible. So there were celebrations, and there are still in certain cultures in the world going on all over the world. The maypole dance became the grounding of fertility, the celebration of fertility that spring is bringing. So celebrate what you see around you every day. It's the promise fulfilled in the depth of the dark in winter, the promise of spring bursting forth all around you. I'd love to hear how you're witnessing that. I'd love to see how you're experiencing that in your life in the midst of all of these kind of roller coaster energies. Yes, you are rising. You are being elevated by the universe itself, the universe within you, because you are the universe and you are the creator of your reality. Don't forget that during these turbulent times, because this eclipse is a huge, huge release point. Every full moon is a huge release point, but this one is bigger than ever. And so if there is chaos in your life, chaos, remember, is a creative force. And this eclipse is opposite Uranus. So it's going to shake things up as we move through this week. Just keep in mind that this is a time of celebration. And in many cultures, the whole week would be one of celebration of this midpoint, celebration that spring arrived again, while the earth is being bathed in these massive eclipse energies. These portals are opening, and it's portals of possibility and intention. It's really powerful if you step through, if you take the time. If you're still living in a very solar go, go, go world, you're on an old game board. The game board has been turned upside down. The pieces have flown all over the place. They have yet to be put back together. But your focus and your frequency, your intentions, your feelization, your walking in the world that you see, not being seduced by previous patriarchal programming, is what will see you through. And it's sometimes it is just hanging on, working your stuff. But other times it's moving into that feelization, that frequency, that vision, that dream before you sleep, upon waking, for sure. 17 seconds, remember, holding that feeling, the feeling of your intentions, the feeling that accompany your vision and your values, aligning with that, moving into that world. You are literally creating just 17 seconds. And so give it 30 seconds per intention. And you're still, if you do 3 to 4 of your intentions, because as I said, don't do more than that, in a cycle, because it can be overwhelming, doesn't mean you can't write and journal like crazy. So as you celebrate this week, this is a cross-quarter time. And in ancient times, cross-quarter holidays, the ones that come in between the solstices and the equinoxes, were more celebrated. They were more important in those cultures than the equinoxes and the solstices, interestingly enough, because those were like culmination points, rebalancing points. So these are the cross-quarter holidays. You work the energy. So polish your progress. Look at where you are doing a lot of activity that's not aligned with the new earth you're creating, with your intentions. Because we experienced 2 new moons in a row, 2 consecutive new moons in Aries at very important degrees. 0 degrees was the first one of initiation. Then we had a full moon in Libra, asking us if we were in balance between the me and the we, if our lives were being lived in harmony with our values and with each other. Are we remembering the I in kind? And are we also able to assert our own need for our own individual needs and wants to be taken care of? Then we had the second new moon in Aries at 29 degrees, a total lunar eclipse. And so this week, like I said, it's a mix of celebration. And yes, these eclipses are to be celebrated because they are life-changing. Eclipses are portals of permanent change because, as I've said before, a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse open this portal and bathes the earth in a sheath of energy in alignment with the characteristics of the energy of that sign. And then We feel it for 6 weeks to 6 months. And every time that eclipse point comes around, and look in your chart for actually 15 degrees of Scorpio and 29 degrees of Aries, because that's the overarching framework for this cycle. Where are those two things occurring in your chart? Wherever 29 degrees of Aries occurred, a door closed with finality because of the 29 degrees. So if you're trying to turn around and go back, if you're pushing on it, like with your butt, trying to get that door to stay open a bit, no, it's closed. And it's really wonderful because it is a fresh start. That new moon in Aries guaranteed a fresh start. In Taurus, the moon moved into Taurus 18 minutes later. And so that said, the resources, know that you're a creator. Walk in abundance. Connect with the earth. Remember who you are. This is the Aries Taurus. And now we come to the full moon. Both Scorpio and Aries are ruled by Mars. How do you use your energy? Are you combative? Or do you stay in your heart? It's really, really valuable to stay in your heart because Venus is the balance for that Mars energy. Venus is in Gemini, continues to move forward in Gemini. So I'm on my phone. If I don't see your comment immediately, I just saw someone check in. I welcome you. I send you love. Thank you for being here. So the main thing is step out of world time. I've been living with the lunar rhythms for, 22 years now, and it saves me. I stay happy. I stay uplifted. Not every moment, but my moments of deviation are quick. And I'm, with the energy and Aries of Chiron and Jupiter, I am more and more setting my boundaries and speaking up for myself. I have Neptune in the first house, Chiron and Libra. Not easy for me all the time. I'm learning lessons about it all the time. But the me and the we need to come into balance. And then, of course, Scorpio also is ruled by the modern ruler, Pluto. So that guarantees that elimination is up. Elimination of old trauma is possible at the time of this full moon. And so as you celebrate who you are, the fact that you are an expression of source, unique and individually beautiful by divine design. Comparison is crippling. That's what the world view would have you do. Stay in comparison. This or that, one way or the other. Yes or no, as opposed to and. There's a song by Liza Minnelli that says, is just say yes. You might want to listen to that. Give that a listen. It's from, years ago. But it's a wonderful, wonderful song to have in your mind. And of course, as I mentioned last week with the Aries energy, I can, I will, I do, I dare. It's a great, great mantra to say when your feet hit the floor in the morning. I can, I will, I do, I dare. Yes, yes, yes. So, tap in and utilize this energy for your highest good and greatest joy. Your values, of course, have to align with your dream. They underscore and inform your vision, and your vision determines your decisions. You've heard me say that before. So as we move through the week, on Thursday at 6:32 a.m., the moon moves into Scorpio. So we are in the gibbous phase all week until Friday with the full moon. So that means celebrate all week, right? Fine. Go out in nature. Wow, there's so much in nature to celebrate right now. We're having an amazing spring in the desert. So if you're not in the desert, you must be having an absolutely overwhelmingly spectacular spring. Celebrate, celebrate, dance to the rhythms of the universe. Yeah. So, let the world go away. Keep it off my shoulders. Remember that old country song? Yeah. You are beyond the old world construct. And it's being pushed more and more strongly toward you. Don't buy into it. Don't waste your precious, precious time and power. So, as I mentioned, we'll be in the gibbous phase. And when the full moon The full moon is accompanied by a powerful, deep, and emotionally intense lunar eclipse. Will we see it here? No. But over 5 billion people in the world will be in the path of that eclipse, which is, it's very powerful. It's what's called a penumbral eclipse, which means that it enters the umbra of the earth. I believe it's 46%, but it's a wide, wide path. Asia, Africa, it's just the top of the world where we are that is not going to see it. Everybody else will see it because it occurs at 10:34 in the morning on Friday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Interesting, right? Again, the theme of celebration comes in, even through this very deeply, emotionally intense eclipse. It's a 4-hour long eclipse. And it begins at 8:14 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Its maximum occultation is 10:22 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and it ends at 12:31 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We won't see it, but we're going to feel it for sure. And note where 15 degrees of Scorpio is in your own natal chart and what stage it's playing out on, which is indicated by the house that this is occurring in. As I mentioned, over 5 billion people. So that's, and because Uranus is opposite the moon, the full moon, and the earth is moving between the moon and the sun, keeping the full moon at bay for 4 hours. We enter the dark. And then when the light returns, something, an awareness, an awakening is popped, big time. Maybe surprises because of Uranus being opposite this eclipse. This is big stuff. And if the game board wasn't wiped clean before, this is an opportunity to recognize that it is being wiped clean in your life and that you have the opportunity, because every full moon is a release point, to really release old traumas, deep traumas. If there are things hidden, because Scorpio is a master of secrets and lies and things that are hidden, and brings up issues of trust and betrayal. And sometimes those things are so painful that we use an enormous amount of energy to keep them tamped down. And this eclipse may pop them right out of the sewer, right into your awareness, so that you can reflect on them and so that you can use this power of this full moon, because Pluto is a player and Scorpio rules the root chakra, to release the things that are deeply hidden, as now you are forced to come face to face with them. What began in the depth of the dark around Thanksgiving? If you're journaling, you can go right back to it and see. That's why journaling with the moon is so revelatory. And it's a culmination point and a fulfillment point for what you set forth at the time of the solar eclipse and the new moon, but it's also fulfillment of what was set forth on November 23rd, 2022. Something's being completed. Perhaps the door that was closed at the new moon now really reaches that finality. When something is lunar, the solar eclipse pops new light, new information into an area where it was previously hidden from view. But a full moon pops feelings sometimes of emotional lack. Where is there an emotional lack in my life? And what am I still being possessive about regarding old wounds and old traumas? Bring in your guides, your guardians, Archangel Michael with his flaming sword, Archangel Raphael with the tremendous healing power. Whoever you are guided that is of the highest vibration of the light, your beloveds of the light, bring them in and do your release work. Write it down. It may be longer, and that's the thing, another thing, while you're doing your celebration this week, allow yourself to notice how good that feels, how you want to live in that state. And keep a list of what you're releasing that gets in the way. What keeps you from having intimacy, true, deep communication in your relationships? What keeps you from experiencing the community you desire? Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees, again, initiation. We are seeing revolution, rebellion all over the world. Here, it's more quiet. We're more comfortable. We cling to our comforts. But around the world, it's happening. And so with Eris in Aries, note what's worth, your battle energy. What's worth your warrior energy? Because you are a warrior goddess or god on the planet. But you don't want to have your energy siphoned off. And this eclipse allows you, it's a big point of releasing the ties to old energy and trauma, old habits and patterns of self-undoing, so that you can release them out into the void and reclaim the energy for the transformation that is also a promise of this lunar eclipse, to honor your emotions. After all, Scorpio is a fixed water sign. So cry it out. We were given these lacrimal glands for a reason. So if it brings up tears, cry it out. When you do your release work, do your burning bowl work, make a wish. Full moons are for wishing. And remember, this wish, which you want to write down, you want to have some place that you can refer back to it. Because as I mentioned, eclipses really have an impact for 6 weeks to 6 months, and another pair will come. And then a solar eclipse imprints for 19 years, a lunar eclipse for 18 years. And it's really infallible when you go back and look at these things. I've been journaling for years and years and years. And so I can go back to the eclipses. And most of the time, they bring in something that is life-changing and that's really good, because I wade through the muck that I'm called to wade through. I do my release work, and then I trust. And Pluto's going to move back into Capricorn. And as it retrogrades and does this, I think it's early June 11th, I believe it is, that it actually gets back into Capricorn. What are your issues of trust? In whom or what do you place your trust? Because Capricorn oftentimes brings up trust issues. Are you trusting the government? Are you taking your marching orders, so to speak, from an external authority? Do you recognize that you are the creator? You are the authority in your life, and all the responsibility that goes with that, so that you can be free, truly. So completion, reflection, release, these are all big words. Coming face to face, having to face that which has been hidden, or that which has been on the back burner regarding old emotions. The lower chakra, the intestines, are what are ruled, the reproductive organs are what are ruled by Pluto, the ruler of the modern ruler, as it's called, of Scorpio. And Aries rules the head, the blood through the brain, the muscular structure. So this series of eclipses takes us, it's a full body experience, let's say. Takes you from the head and the brain. How do you use your thought? Mercury retrograde, how do you use the power of your words? Are they loving and Venusian style? Do you think before you speak? Do you understand that words are energy and vibration, and they literally create? It's not idle. It's not sometimes. It's all the time. That's why the heart drop coming from that place is so important for yourself and others, because that's what you'll attract. You will attract those of like frequency. And that's how you begin to find that community that Pluto in Aquarius is going to call us to create over the next 20 years. Yeah. And we're alive for it. How exciting is that? Yeah. So we have Pluto in Aquarius, the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, opposite Uranus in Taurus, Jupiter, Eris, all of this stuff in Aries. And then, of course, the North Node in Taurus. So this is a South Node eclipse. What is the collective being asked to leave behind? What are you being asked to leave behind? Use this release portal, 10:34 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Adjust your schedule. and experience those 4 hours in sacred space, if that's at all possible for you, even just in your awareness that that's going on. Your thoughts create. Write them down. They're important. Listen for the messages. Scorpio, I feel, in one of its highest forms, is very shamanic energy, which is that ability to go into the underworld, to reclaim the energy, to transform your life. And also, it reminds you that the highest level of Scorpio is the eagle. So stay on your eagle's perch. It doesn't mean divorce yourself from other people. It just means keep that higher vision and view in mind, in your heart. You know, it's interesting. I'm seeing an eagle like landing in my heart and its wings expanding, expanding, expanding to encompass my world with love. Yeah, nice image, right? So an overhaul in your relationships may be due, may be overdue. And so you may see this. Where are you your own worst enemy? Where is it time to forgive and surrender? This is what Scorpio is called to do. Forgive. Surrender to your highest nature. Let the messages that Mercury is bringing in its retrograde phase come through. Let Venus, Mars talk to you. You may see financial upheaval seemingly brought on. Taurus, North Node in Taurus rules banking. It rules our values, and that's been one of the themes. What are we moving toward? We're moving toward more clarity and greater alignment with our values. And that's based in Venus, the goddess of love. But also she's kick-ass too. Yeah. And Scorpio, which is not just banking, it is big money. And that's where we're seeing some of the banks fail. But if you know that you truly are taken care of, you're in an environment where you can breathe, food you can eat organically, absolutely, because with the energies going on with Ceres and with Taurus, this has to do with the food supply, and it can interrupt distribution. So support your local organic producers. We have that opportunity during this spring season. Look at what sustains you. Sustain yourself in the best mode possible, the healthiest mode possible, because your health makes everything else possible. Pay attention to your connection with nature. It's one of the ways to really ground yourself. With Uranus opposite this eclipse, that's electricity. And so you want to ground yourself just standing on the earth. And it's challenging because we don't wear leather-soled shoes anymore. We tend to wear, rubber or plastic or something else. And so if you can literally stand on the earth, that's a wonderful thing to do. If not, feel the energy move through your feet to your Earth star, 3.5 feet below the earth. Taurus, it says savor, appreciate everything. Because usually sometimes always your greatest adversaries are also your greatest teachers. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to remember. As I mentioned, the eclipse path will be on the other side of the world. Actually, it'll be penumbral, but it'll be toward the top. We won't have another penumbral eclipse like this until 2042. So being aware of the energies is really important. And it's interesting because of the Pluto connection, that's how long Aquarius will be in Pluto, until 2044. So we've got, that makes this point even more significant regarding transformation and power. Wherever Pluto goes, power lies. So we're going to be looking at the old constructs of power once it retrogrades into Capricorn for the rest of this year, and until January when it moves forward, so that we can look at the world we're going to build that is in more balance. As far as the sky goes, the sun at the moon at the time of the eclipse, Libra is the actual constellation that's overhead. So that reminds us of the harmony and the balance. And to ask yourself, where's the harmony and balance in your life? Are you continually thrust into drama? Leo, I mentioned three fixed energies: Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. But the outlet for this fixed square energy is Leo. Are you self-absorbed? Are you staying on point with the love, the kindness, and the balance needed between yourself and others? Or does your own drama take over everything? Are you still trying to get ahead personally? Maybe that's your value. And that's okay. It's your journey. You have a right to. But just know, just be aware of the frequency that we're moving into a time of collective hyperconsciousness. And so you will attract what you are. So use the side of Leo that has to do with the generous heart, the passion, the appreciation. And remember, Leo has a drive to be appreciated. But actually, all these other energies are saying, no, you be the appreciator. Because it opens your heart. And walking through this time with an open heart and with the light around you in your field, so that I'm an empath. So I take on people's energy, and I had to spend a week just clearing out energy last week because I was taking on energy that wasn't my rodeo. So that's also part of the balance that's being called for at the time of this eclipse, literally by the heavens above. You're going to see people feeling rebellious. That may be going on all week. You know, heads up. You know that's possible. Jupiter's going to be moving into Taurus. I believe it's May 11th. When that happens, the uproar around the financial stuff, because Scorpio South Node rules investments. Where is your energy invested, as well as literal material investments? And when Jupiter moves into Taurus, you may find that kind of stabilizes things a bit, that things stabilize. What does that mean for you in your own life? That stabilization. And it expands the message of the nodal axis is being expanded, will be expanded by Jupiter, because the nodes are moving through the last degrees, or the first degrees actually, of Taurus and Scorpio, getting ready in July to shift into Aries and Libra. So this is about fundamental social and political restructuring. That's big, right? Really big. And Jupiter is expanding this ignition point. And then Pluto in Aquarius brings that strong Uranian influence, which makes it very important for you to ground, very important for you to be aware of what the wake-up call is about for you. And Jupiter is also the planet of justice. So we may, see a lot around that. Don't get distracted by the media's thing around justice. But what does that mean for you in your own life? Remember the scales of justice in Libra. Again, it's about balance. I just want to see what else I have here. Secrets and lies deeply held in the underworld of your being. It also rules, Scorpio also has to do with Pluto, has to do with toxicity and pollution in your bodies and on the planet, and also in your relationships. So that's another theme. So look at where you could live more, as I said, more ecocentrically, so to speak. Yes, on the 18th of July is when the nodes shift. And it won't be, then the lunar eclipse that comes on the 28th of October in Taurus. That'll be the final hurrah of moving into your, really taking a look at your values, moving forward to be more earth friendly, really looking at how you're eating and feeding yourself, and the resources that you need to bring the vision you've been creating and what you've been initiating over this past cycle. What door has closed. This will be another point to look for, but it won't be as strong. That eclipse won't be as strong because it will, the nodes will have shifted by that time. But this is a quite dramatic eclipse, portends sudden changes in your life. take the time to just assimilate. You may find you need more rest. After all, Scorpio rules regeneration, the powers of regeneration to transform your life and your health. And so if you need rest, it doesn't mean that anything's wrong. It means that you are aware. You're aware of these energies. And remember that time is an illusion. The Gregorian calendar is an illusion created for political and religious expediency. The lunar calendar is the only true, unerring calendar of the rhythms of your life that goes on and on. So the more you can tap into the rhythms, the more you can stay on course with what you are creating. And know that if something, as your frequency rises, if something is not aligned with your frequency, if you are living your values and it's not aligned, then it may very well drop out of your life. And it may be because if it's in 3D, it may be very physical. You may leave a job or have a door closed behind you, opening you to a broader, more expansive vision of your creative abilities, moving you into more quickly into the world that you're creating and that you want to see. So what do you want? Who are you becoming? What are you letting go of? What must you let go of? If you are having health challenges, then definitely there's something you're being asked to release. And as I said, it's challenging. And have compassion for yourself. Mars is in Cancer. Saturn is in Pisces, 2 water signs that thrive when compassion is in play. Not empathy, not where your field gets clogged with energies that are not aligned, or when you take on others' energies, but compassion, sympathy. There's work, definitely, especially with holistic practitioners, where empathy is of great use. When I do readings and consultations, it's of great use. But you have to know how to keep your field intact. So, as you work with this eclipse energy, you're going to write down what you want to release. You're going to make a wish. I happily and thankfully wish. What do you wish for in your relationships? What does the world look like when you step into that wish and you have released the energy that's tied up in trauma, that's tied up in belligerence, that's tied up in where you're holding grudges? None of that benefits you. And it's all about you. It's not about the other person. They were just holding a mirror. And then full moons are about the mirror. So the mirror gets blocked, and then it pops into a full awareness, bigger than ever, with the way this eclipse is set up. So write your wish down. Make it fairly simple and concise in relation to the energy that's indicated by these eclipses. And then burn the paper you've written, what you're releasing on, or the 2 papers, or the 3, however many you've got. Burn that. And as you do that, move yourself into sacred space, breathe in and out of your heart, and see what you're releasing just move with the smoke from the burning bowl right up and out, taking like smoke, like the smoke is like sticky stuff that moves through every cell. I'm not saying breathe in the smoke, but this is a visualization. Feel it, see it, move through every cell of your body, taking what you're releasing right out of your body. Especially make sure you're breathing with your belly moving. So feel your root chakra, ground yourself. See it moving on out. And then bring your wish forward, visualize it. What does it look like to have that wish come true right now? And then drop into your heart. Feel your belly moving as you breathe, and step into the picture you've created of your wish come true, and feel what it feels like to live in a world where your wishes come true right now. And when you get sidetracked, go back into your wish, go back into your intentions. Because now you are entering the waning phase of the cycle. Over the weekend, the waning cycle begins. The full moon phase is going to be very powerful, very intense for at least 3.5 days. And then, as I said, 6 weeks, 6 months, as your wish unfolds and your intentions. And then put your journal your page out under the full moon's light and allow it to be charged by the full moon's incredible power. And then tuck it away until the next new moon, 2 weeks from that eclipse. And you'll bring it forth and you'll make your wish part of your intentions under the Taurus new moon. As you begin to lay the foundation, collect the resources, and build a foundation under all this beautiful work you've done from a place of love. I love you all so much. I'm so glad that you're here with me going through these times, that I get to express some of these ideas to you. I hope this is helpful. Let me know. The link is on my Facebook page. I believe it's probably been in the crawl here if you'd like a reading. It's an incredible time for a reading with permanent changes and life-changing energies afoot. And the main thing is to know how to navigate these energies, to me, for your highest good and greatest joy. And that's what I always aim to do for you, to bring in the guides, the guardians, the universe, energies of the universe, because you are such an important thread in the web of gold, this new golden age being woven right now. Never forget that you're a creator. Use your tools. Uplift yourself. Stay in touch with that which inspires you, because the overarching energy of Saturn and Pisces is saying you can make your dream real. You can make your dream real. So I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. Like me, share me, follow me, subscribe to me on YouTube. The replay is available on YouTube and Facebook and StreamYard. And I thank Debbie for making this possible today. Thank you for bearing with us through the crazy slow start we had this morning. Some of you got to drop into your heart a couple of times this morning, right? Yeah. So again, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week, a life-changing week of celebration and transformation. And of course, I love you to the moon and way beyond.